Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. It's been a hectic week here. We've had highs, we've had lows, and I've had a cold. But what better way to round out the week than with some sneak peeks at more HeroQuest news. Avalon Hill have recently unveiled some new teasers regarding the forthcoming Rise of the Dreadmoon expansion. As I covered on the channel previously, this expansion was already made available for pre-order in some places before promptly selling out, and is scheduled for release in June of 2023. Until recently, we didn't really know a whole lot about this expansion. We had a small image of the box art, and we knew that Avalon Hill were including a Guardian Knight character, a fantastic move after making the previous Guardian Knight character a retailer exclusive that most fans were unable to obtain. And I'll be honest and upfront, we still don't have a lot of information to go on here, and while I tend not to go into speculative videos too much, I would rather share facts than wishes and guesses. I know a lot of you are excited to hear about any HeroQuest updates, and I'm not one to miss a chance to witter on about one of my favourite games. So here we are. First of all, Avalon Hill have now shared a better quality image of the box art. We have our new Guardian Knight here in the centre, with our original 4 heroes leaping to action all around them. The most interesting elements here are the foes they are facing. First off, there appears to be spectres, phantasms or ghostly apparitions of some kind. It's about time we got some more undead enemies for the game, but whether these are actual ghosts or magical summons remains to be seen. Regardless, I would expect miniatures for these new enemies. Do note that over on the left there is a spectral image that at first I thought could be Sinestra, the big bad from the Mage of the Mirror, mainly due to the pointy ears and the tiara. However, the tiara does look different to the one she is wearing in Mage of the Mirror. It has a wee skull on it, so it's possible that this is Kassandria, one of the villains from Return of the Witchlord, who has the ability to escape from the hero's clutches. I'll say no more to avoid spoilers. She is someone who I don't believe we've ever seen a picture of, and her being involved would make sense in terms of the presence of undead foes in the image, and also ties in with the story of another enemy depicted here that we will talk about in a moment. But of course, it could still be Sinestra. After all, the heroes in this image appear to be fighting elves again. But the garb of the elves here is interesting. In Mage of the Mirror we got elves with swords and elves with bows, but in this image there are some heavily armoured elves and some that appear to be in robes. Some have spears, and one, right near the front of the box art, has a winged shield. Just like the winged shields depicted here in this image from the royal court of Elethorn, the Queen's Guards. The plot thickens. Regardless, I suspect more elf miniatures are in this box. All told, I would say it is safe to say that Rise of the Dreadmoon is continuing the story of the Mage of the Mirror, and also the Rogue Heir of Elethorn. The official communique for the Rogue Heir mentions schisms within the Elven realm and political upheaval. And the promotional video from the Mage of the Mirror let us know that the Queen was suspicious of her inner court. The kidnapping of the princess was just one element of that situation, and while it may have temporarily quelled a rebellion, Sinestra and Zargon surely aren't going to throw in the towel. It's fascinating to see Avalon Hill weaving a larger narrative together in this way from different expansions. And that leads us to the final part of this image worthy of discussion. That rather dashing yet clearly evil knight opposing our valiant heroes. I think a lot of people predicted that this was Sir Ragnar. They were totally right. For those who don't know or need a refresher, Sir Ragnar is the poor old soul that the heroes rescue in the Rescue of Sir Ragnar, one of the earliest missions in the HeroQuest core game. My North American friends may believe that obtaining his freedom is where Ragnar's story ends. Not so. Old school European fans who played through the original edition of Return of the Witchlord will know that in the conclusion of that campaign we are informed that Sir Ragnar has been corrupted by the powers of Morkar and is now helping the villainous Skullmar, who has access to the Witchlord's spellbooks. Spellbooks that could summon undead allies. Like ghosts maybe. It's a tantalising cliffhanger that was never resolved and was never even mentioned in the North American version of the expansion, or indeed Avalon Hill's new edition of that expansion. But that one line of text sowed the seeds of many players' imaginations, and Avalon Hill know it. They have dug into that small piece of almost forgotten lore and brought it to the fore. We know this because they have teased some additional concept artwork for that night, and they have included the comment, "In Europe they call him traitor." So it looks like we finally get to have stern words with Sir Ragnar about his nefarious shenanigans. And how great is that? How exciting is it to have a recurring character come back to cause grief, a character that the hero saved in an earlier adventure no less. It's wonderful storytelling. It's also exciting because of what it means for this expansion and for the future of HeroQuest. First of all, it means we are going to get a miniature for Sir Ragnar. There's no way he's a main boss and not getting a unique sculpt. For those who bought this game at retail, this will be the first time they have had a Sir Ragnar miniature. There was a Sir Ragnar included with the Mythic Pledge level during the game's original crowdfunding campaign, but that was Ragnar as a prisoner, and of course was never available beyond that campaign. This is Sir Ragnar in all his glory, and surely will be a miniature you could use in the rescue of Sir Ragnar and any other missions that require a knightly foe or NPC. Furthermore, his inclusion, his elevation to a main player, shows that Avalon Hill cares about the original European aspects of this game. I may be setting myself up for a massive disappointment, but this just confirms to me that we will eventually see revised, updated versions of Wizards of Morcar and Against the Ogre Horde. If Sir Ragnar is getting this much attention, those two major, much requested, highly coveted expansions must be on the cards. But ultimately, it's just a pleasure to see HeroQuest narrative getting richer and more vibrant in this way, as new plot threads are woven together into a much larger story that isn't just good versus evil, but a deeper story about rival political factions and the constant struggle for power. Avalon Hill have even shared an image of the official communique from the Rogue Heir expansion, circling the reference to the Cadre of the Raven's Veil to evidence their involvement in the rise of the Dreadmoon. Does this mean the elves on the box cover are the Cadre? And if so, does that mean they are plotting against the heroes and only contacted the Rogue Heir to lure them out of hiding to destroy them? This could explain why elves on the Dreadmoon box art appear to be dressed like the Elven Royal Guard, and would also explain how it was possible for the Elven Princess to be kidnapped in the first place. I don't know, and as I said before, that kind of speculation isn't something I tend to dwell on. But again, it's interesting to see the weaving of the web, drawing this expansion into a tightly knit story that spans several existing products. I think it's worth remembering that Rise of the Dreadmoon is the first official retail released product that represents completely new content. Yes, there were some quests that were part of the crowdfunding campaign, and as I reported on previously, we know that at least some of those quests are going to retail because we have seen the Prophecy of Telor cover art. But Rise of the Dreadmoon is the first product designed from the ground up as a brand new retail release that doesn't draw on existing established HeroQuest products. It's the first time Avalon Hill get to flex the full extent of their storytelling skills and expand HeroQuest in a way that we've never really seen before. And to find some loose ends from the original release of the game and tie them in a neat bow? Well, bravo Avalon Hill. As an old school fan of the game, it's fascinating to see. But I think I've covered just about everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.